inside my DNA. I got loyalty inside my DNA. I got loyalty, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I was born like this, was born like this, immaculate conception. And perform like this without you, one new weapon. I meditate and pump your pain. This that truth against the pen. I got loyalty, got loyalty inside my DNA. I got loyalty, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I was born like this, was born like this, immaculate conception. And perform like this without you, one new weapon. I meditate and pump your pain. I got loyalty.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sheyenne High School, home of the Mustangs, for this brisk evening here in Fargo. Sitting at about 35 below, I think, is the last time I checked. I'm Aaron Cadota. With me tonight is Dan Wolf. Dan, obviously it's cold outside, but hopefully we got a hot one in here.
Yeah, hopefully so. A meeting of rivals here in the metro area, the Sheyenne Mustangs and the Fargo North Spartans. Both teams kind of in the middle of the conference standings as we turn to a new year in the first game of the new year for both squads. You know, this is kind of that time of the year where this is where you find your team identity. This is where you move forward and kind of try to establish that identity and see if you can start working your way up the ranks of the conference standings. And both teams are going to be looking to do that tonight.
Yeah, coming in tonight in this away game, Fargo North, they're really trying to turn things around with this program. I had a nice conversation last night with Coach Brian Kaluza from Fargo North. He talked to me a little bit about some of the things that he's noticing about his squad this year that might be a little bit different from the Fargo North teams in the last few years. Those teams tended to struggle a little bit, but he's got something going with some really nice group of young players combined with some kind of veteran leaders. So one thing I did ask him, I said, I noticed you guys obviously have a pretty strong defense. They're doing a pretty nice job in the EDC, where they're one of the better defensive teams out there, holding teams to low field goal percentage, keeping them off a lot of points. And he said, yeah, that's really been their point of emphasis, trying to make teams score away from the lane. He said that's really kind of the crux of their defense, and they're doing a really nice job with that so far. So we'll see if the Mustangs can kind of work some inside and outside and work against this really tough Fargo North crew.
Well, yeah, and that's a key for any team. If you can, limit your opponents' opportunities offensively to outside shots and can control the boards, you're going to give yourself a chance to win any game. Now, Sheyenne should obviously have a size advantage against the Spartans tonight. And, the last time we saw Sheyenne play, they dropped a close game to Shanley last week and probably came out a little flatter than they wanted to early in the game and fell behind by double digits and really worked hard to get back into it and ended up losing by 3. And this is a North team that was able to beat Shanley, and that's kind of been the theme that we've talked about through the boys and the girls season this year is there's no nights off. You're going to have to come ready to play because every team is a legitimate threat. And so Cheyenne sitting at 2-3 in the conference, 3-3 overall. If you want to start making those strides towards saying, hey, we should be one of those teams punching our ticket to state, this is going to be a great time to do it for Cheyenne.
Absolutely. I think we're going to see a great battle tonight. Both teams kind of sitting in the middle. This is a team, that the Mustangs feel like they have to win or beat in order to kind of jump up in the standings, and I think North feels the exact same way. If you're going to make that climb, you got to be able to beat some of those teams in the middle part of the brackets and middle part of the standings, and I think that's where we're going to see tonight. So both teams feel like they want it. They feel like they might need it. You said they had the common opponent in Shanley. North was able to get Shanley. The Mustangs were not. And we'll see tonight if, those common opponents, do they tell you much, or is that, hey, just one night off where the Mustangs didn't play well and one night on where North maybe did?
Yeah, that's going to be what's really going to tell us here tonight. And It looks like West Fargo and Davies are obviously the class of the EDC right now as far as the girls go. But everybody else is clawing for those spots right after that. So this should be an entertaining one as we're going to go down to the public broadcast and to the PA announcer for the national anthem by the Cheyenne Pep Band.
Together, let's all help create an environment for high school competition that we can be proud of. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would you please rise football headgear and remain at attention for the playing of our national anthem. Tonight's anthem will be performed by the Sheyenne High Pep Band under the direction of Mr. Dan Larson. The Cheyenne High Pep Band.
So that's Cheyenne High Pep Band playing the national anthem for us. Mr. Larson leading that crew there. Nice job with the Pep Band. So, Coach Wolf, we talked about the common opponent here. I guess what I'm interested in, and especially talking to Coach Kaluza last night, North brings in a lot of young players, I said. They do have Megan Dirk in the inside, great defender. She'll do a real nice job for them, I'm sure, again tonight. And Arden Faulkner, she's doing a really good job on multiple levels. She's a junior. She's been able to get off the point position a little bit more this year, get some points. Been able to score the ball a little bit more effectively and efficiently, and I think that's definitely something North needs. But I'm coming into this one, Coach, looking at multiple freshmen that have really been making a mark here for North to start the season. That's Olivia Hammis and Grace Thiel and Grace Anderson. When you're putting freshmen on the floor and they're contributing and they're starting to win some games, that's got to be pretty exciting, I think, for a coach.
It really should be. Most sports, and basketball certainly is no exception, is really a game of confidence. And then when you have those young players that start to experience that success and they're starting to get it, that as a coach, you got to be really excited about that. And so when you have those young kids that are they have all that energy and they're flying around out there and they're starting to taste a little success, that's got to bode really well for what Coach Kaluza has going on. For Cheyenne tonight, I think, we saw how flat they started against Shanley, and that really hurt them. Again, I think they have that size advantage, so you're going to want to control the boards, control tempo, and get as many second chance opportunities as you can. And I'm sure Coach Wingenbach probably disappointed that they lost a day of practice yesterday because of the missed day for West Fargo schools. I think he's going to have his ladies ready to play tonight, and hopefully it's going to be a good one.
And I will say this about the Mustangs. They did come out flat in that first half. They did claw all the way back against Shanley. They played a really nice second half, really kind of triggered by Olivia Manson, who made 4 threes in that game. I think a couple of threes by Brenna Dick in the second half. And so they were fired, but, they kind of just ran out of gas. And I think it's, to your point, Coach, it's been just an odd couple of weeks for every team. And I talked to Kaluza about this yesterday, too. Not just the Mustangs who've been losing practices because of weather, but there's also influenza going around. Yeah. I think Kaluza told me that over the course of December 17th to December 30th, they were only able to have 2 practices because of illness. So the illness going around on both teams, so that the lack of practices, we'll see which team can kind of come out sharp with maybe not as much practice time over the last few weeks as they wanted.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The illness bug has gotten into, it seems like, virtually every school in the area. And, you know, when you have a sports team that you're used to going only so many kids deep, as we see Carson Sanders with a great drive to the basket, good start for her. You know, that messes with your rotations. It messes with the ability to get kids the practice time that they need. So, you know, really all the teams, boys and girls in the EDC, have really been fighting this. But, you know, it's kind of that deal of which teams make the best adjustments and find people to step up. As Grace Steele puts up a 3 from the wing and misses it. We'll see what we got tonight.
Absolutely. So the Mustangs with a 2-point lead here to start, as you said. Now we'll see what the Mustangs able to pull away here after the stop that they had on a couple of missed threes there by Fargo North. So it's Breidenbach into the corner. That's going to be Manson for her first shot. Hey, she was hot the other night. There's her first 3 of the night.
Hot in the second half. You know, I think that's one of the things, at least in the games that we've done this year, we all know how good of a shooter Olivia Manson is. But I've yet to see her get that good start, you know, and it's such a confidence thing for shooters. Good shooters just keep shooting. But, man, when you can get that first one to fall, things seem so good. And let's hope that Olivia is able to keep that going in the rest of the first half.
Good decision there by Breidenbach to pull it back out, and that gets a corner shot there from Paige Johnson.
Good ball movement.
Brooke Johnson. Called her older sister's name. Brooke Johnson there for the first bucket. 7-0 lead here for the Mustangs. North kicks it out to the corner. A little pick and roll action. And back up top with about 11 left on the shot clock. Grace Steele moves around, goes around. Nice job clearing, and that's a great block there by Breidenbach. Suffice it to say that that'll go down maybe as the hardest block of Breidenbach's career right there.
Grace Steele may have some nightmares tonight about seeing Breidenbach coming out there with that big swat of the ball.
So baseline out of bounds here, play for North. They got 5 seconds to shoot here. Ball into Grace Steele at the top. She's running out of time. And I think they're going to have a shot clock violation.
Great defensive sequence for Sheyenne. Really made North work hard for it. And that's maybe when you get some of those younger players that don't recognize that shot clock is coming down to the end as quickly as that.
So we'll take a quick timeout as well. 7-0 here in favor of the Mustangs.
In this place, we face obstacles like nowhere else. The clock, the trail, the hill, the challenge that's always waiting. When that challenge comes, we'll meet it together. Because it's your chance to show what you're made of. Tenacity, resilience, and the power to prove that the toughest competition comes from within. This is orthopedics and sports medicine like nowhere else.
So coming out of the timeout, Kaluza said we need to talk things over. Don't want to get this out of hand. We said, Coach, which team is going to start out with getting hot, and that looks like it's the Mustangs so far.
Yeah, way better start. A lot more energy, a lot more of effort we're seeing from Sheyenne right out of the gate tonight.
That's Grace Steele knocking that one out of bounds. Manson's going to take it over on the sideline. Post up there. Ball gets loose. Johnson with it now. Good cross-court pass. Gets Manson open again. Off the back iron. Fight for the rebound there is won by Fargo North. Pushes up ahead. Ball loose again. Breidenbach with it. She pulls the 3. That goes off back iron as well. Mustangs out to a 7-0 lead. Haven't really worked the interior. Thought maybe we'd see a little bit more of that early. It was Carson Sanders early where she broke the baseline and got to the layup. But other than that, Mustangs content early with shooting some outside shots here. Good jab step there by number 5, Arden Faulkner.
So far, Cheyenne's doing a really nice job of dealing with that high screen and roll that North likes to run, and they're forcing North deep into that shot clock, and North's having to settle for shots that they would not like to be taking, I'm sure, for Coach Kaluza.
Ball moves around the perimeter here. That gets Metcalf into the corner for Breidenbach. She takes a look, but dumps it back down over to Metcalf. She gets her on a rebound, throws it up again. That one just doesn't want to fall. A couple of good looks there for Metcalf. 7-0 here in favor of the Mustangs. Wingenbach's got to like what he's seeing early out of his girls, getting some good looks. Defensive energy is there. Little bump by Carson Sanders, no call. Kick out to the corner. That three rattles around but doesn't land. Breidenbach with the basketball, pushing it up the middle of the court now. Goes to her left, gets all the way to the rim. Good defense there from number 22, Olivia Hammes, one of those freshmen that I talked about. Ball up at the top of the key now for North and over to the corner. That's Faulkner for three. That looks smooth, Coach.
That was really just good decision-making. She saw that Metcalf was giving her that step, and so no hesitation, no second thought on that, and pulled the trigger, and it looked to be in great rhythm with that shot.
And I was wondering, we talked a little bit about this. Oh, good pull there from Manson. She's feeling it. You could tell just the rhythm by which she caught that, the confidence. That one drops. 2 threes already. It's only 13:33 to go in the first half.
Well, Coach, made three-pointers are like Pokemon. Once you have one, you got to have them all.
All right, so we got a quick travel call there. I was saying, Coach, I'm sure Kaluza's thinking, and like I said, I talked to him last night. He knows his defense is going to be there, but probably he realizes that this is not a team that's built to come back from high deficits early. And so I'm sure right now they got to kind of shore things up. Because they want this to be a game that's going to be low scoring and, fight for 45-45 outcome kind of thing.
That was my thought when you were talking about the fact of how good of a job North does defensively. That's maybe also a nice way of saying they probably don't score a lot on the offensive end as well at times. As we see Caitlin Haas bank in a three. I thought I heard her call it from up here, so we'll give her all 3 points on that one. But yeah, you're exactly right. North doesn't have that high-powered offense. They don't run the floor a lot.
And you can tell they want to set up in a trap and a press, and you got to score to set that up. And so we'll see if they're able to close it up. 10-point lead early, drops one down low there. Ball loose again. I think Haas is on the floor battling for it.
Hey, what I loved about that, the recognition, Metcalf came over to help out. And that pass was dropped off to Metcalf's player, and Lauren Fagerwin saw that, got a hand on it, and disrupted the whole thing. So that was Cheyenne last time. Oh, they're going to get Metcalf. It was all clean up top, but her body at the bottom is what's going to get the foul there. But just like North was able to expend a lot of that shot clock for Cheyenne as Cheyenne was trying to get the ball over half court on the last possession for the Mustangs, Cheyenne kind of did the exact same thing to North there.
So that's Reagan Carlson, 6-foot junior, to the line right now. That is one way to get yourself back in it, is to make buckets at the free throw line, but they ended up not getting a point out of that one, so that one hurts a little bit. Brenna Dick pushes hard, doesn't have a great angle for that layup, and the ball goes kind of high off the glass. Back with it, nice crossover there by Thiel. She moves the ball over to number 22, Olivia Hammes. Back up top now. That's Carlson. Grace Anderson with it. And back to Thiel, who gets a nice job into the lane there. Good soft touch there by Grace Thiel, freshman. You could tell Grace Thiel is pretty comfortable with the basketball, especially you put a little pressure in her face. She's got a couple nice crossovers there. And now we got Manson with it, moving it across all the way to the corner. That's going to get us a 3 ball from Fagerland.
Good job by Manson poking that. Oh, I think they're saying the shot clock should not have reset as there's no rim drawn there.
So I think they're going to
take
knock
10
that
seconds
down.
off, yeah.
Couple of substitutions in for each team now.
It was a nice job by Manson kind of poking the ball and keeping it alive, and Caitlin Haas was able to come up with it.
Baseline out of bounds, gets Manson open for 3.
She's
Same
feeling
spot.
it tonight. She is feeling it tonight.
Well, with 10:38 to go, she keeps this pace up. That might be a North Dakota record. You put 15 three-pointers in the game, you might do something.
He might.
Oh,
Thiel, nice
good
stroke
answer
on that one. She's got 5 of the 8 Spartan points already.
all right, Breidenbach looking into the interior, but everybody kind of runs away from her. She's able to beat that pressure anyway. And gets
all the way to the
rim.
basket. That's great. Recognize no one was coming to stop that penetration, and when you get that opportunity, you just get downhill and get to the basket. Good things will happen for you.
There's nice defense there by Manson. Pass gets out of bounds. Coach Wingenbach, good footwork there to get out of the way.
Cat-like quickness. Going to be another timeout by Coach Kaluza. You don't want to burn them all, but boy, you're down 18-8, and that's probably not the start that you wanted.
We'll take a quick timeout. Back here at Cheyenne High School, Coach Wolf, do have an update on obviously a really big matchup up over at Fargo North.
Big matchup as the boys are going against each other. The 2-loss in the conference Spartans going up against the 1-loss Mustangs, and with 6:23 left in the first half, it is 19-all at the Spartan Dome between the Fargo North and Cheyenne boys. Mustang fans, this broadcast is proudly sponsored by Apex Engineering Group, professional consultants serving North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota communities and public agencies, designing solutions to meet your infrastructure needs. If you set the bar at competence, how do you reach excellence? Find out at apexenggroup.com.
So Manson pulls another 3 there, almost drops from the exact same spot. Johnson with the rebound. She's able to get fouled on the putback, and she'll shoot a couple. First one rattles out. So Wingenbach's got to feel pretty good, Coach, about the start here, 18-8. I do wonder, the points, where they're coming from right now from the three-point line, it's hard to maintain that. I think we already have 4 threes on the night.
Yeah.
Of your 19 points, if 12 of them are coming from outside the arc, that kind of hot shooting, probably unlikely to continue. So we'll see if he tries to work a little bit of interior presence.
Well, and I was thinking those 19 points, I don't think Maya Metcalf has scored any of those yet, and we know with someone averaging, in that 20 point a game neighborhood, she's going to get going at some point, and that probably is another reason why Coach Wingenbach feels good is you're up 19-8, and your highest scorer hasn't been able to contribute anything yet. What a great shot by
that's Faulkner there
Faulkner.
With her second 3. Another smooth-looking shot, but that's twice now where they've hit that shot with the shot clock running down here. And great move there all the way to the interior. Breidenbach, but a little bit too tight on the angle, and ball goes off the edge of the glass and hits a little bit of the rim and drops down into the hands of the Spartans. Pick and roll here. Drops down into number 23, but that ball is going to go off the hands of Megan Dirk. And so it's going to go over to the Mustangs here. Haas to inbound. Good pressure by North. Does get into Manson. She goes right back to Haas with it. And now they'll kind of clear out and let it go one-on-one. Haas trying to set something up. Good decision there. Nice body control. Pick and roll with Johnson. She gets into the lane there, and Haas, I believe, is fouled going up for 2.
And you can see that's something that obviously Coach Wingenbach has talked about, knowing the type of defense that North plays, setting that high screen to kind of free up that point guard to do some decision-making on whether to go to the basket or look for someone open. That's a good adjustment by Coach Wingenbach to kind of disrupt the things that Fargo North is looking to do defensively.
First free throw does fall for Haas. A couple of substitutions in for each team. Looks like Metcalf will come back in for Haas if she's able to put this free throw in, waiting at the scorer's table. And she does, so there gets the whistle. A couple of substitutions.
Fagerland
in as well, yeah. So 21-11 now in favor of the Mustangs. They'll put a little full court pressure on, might be a little token pressure.
But I think this is also, we've seen Coach Wingenbach going to, an 8-person rotation and really getting all of these girls on the floor for a substantial amount of time, as Breidenbach really played that screen and roll well there defensively. But that keeps fresh legs out there. This is the beginning of the marathon stretch of this season for both teams, and you want to have fresh legs out there on the floor as often as you can. You can't really, unless you're a very talented team, it's hard to go only 5 or 6 deep. So playing 8, 9 girls, getting them a lot of minutes, especially with the injuries and the illnesses that can come up during the season, I think is going to pay dividends for Coach Wingenbach.
So that was Faulkner looking inside for his feet and on the pick and roll, but unable to get that one to connect. Breidenbach going to get trapped there in front of the half-court line, and that does free up Fagerland for a 3. That goes long. Good rebound there by Metcalf. She's able to fight for it and knocked out of bounds there by Fargo North.
What I liked about that sequence for Cheyenne there is Carson Sanders came to the ball. That's so often the mistake that players make is, when there's a press like that and a pass is made, they sit passively as North causes a 5-second violation on the Mustangs here. But players sit passively waiting for that ball to come to them, and Carson came out and met the ball on that, and that's how you prevent those steals from taking place.
Again, a little token pressure from the Mustangs, but maybe just to wear a little bit of the shot clock since we've been able to get them pretty deep in the shot clock. Good hands there. Johnson able to get the ball free for just a second, and she does get the jump call. Faulkner looks up, says, hey, didn't feel like that seemed entirely clean to me, but ball got loose, and then credit to Johnson for getting on the floor.
Those are things that aren't probably going to show up in a stat line, but that was really good defense by Johnson there.
So Breidenbach with a pick and roll with Sanders up top. Looks to Fagerland in the corner. Back to Breidenbach. Swing over to Metcalf. She'll look at the 3. Shot fake and gets to about 10 feet and shoots a little bit long there on the baseline. Rebound out to the Spartans. Back up top. That's Faulkner again. Going for her 3rd three-pointer. That one was 75% down, but last I checked, Coach, unfortunately 75% down still don't count.
Does not count. Good rebound Faulkner, by Thiel there.
It's a good-looking shot, though.
Yeah,
she's really catching that in rhythm, and it looks real comfortable, even with the hand up kind of in her face. She doesn't mind having a little bit of a defender up there, and she's hit some shots. Good defense there by Metcalf. Contact, but she went straight up with it and kind of wore that contact, and that gets Carson Sanders up for 3. Spartans with it now. Into the corner. Pick and roll. Nope. Turns away from it. Faulkner now with it at the top. There's that pick and roll. I think that's Sweet. She's blocked.
But, boy, Cheyenne's done. I don't know if North has got off a real clean or good look on that screen and roll yet. As you mentioned earlier, you can't make threes at the pace that Cheyenne was initially, and they've grown a little cold here. Perhaps Coach Wingenbach's going to maybe have that emphasis now as Breidenbach plays that screen and roll very well again.
That's the second time she's stolen that pass here in the last few minutes.
But maybe there'll be a concerted effort to try and get a little bit of an inside game going.
Breidenbach for 3. Again, Mustangs got cold. Haven't been able to get to the rim, or at least maybe even not have attempted to get to the rim. You start making shots like that, usually a couple of shot fakes. That'll get you some layups because the defense is going to have to come out. But now probably North is content with letting them chuck up a few. Good offensive rebound. Sanders boxes out, and I think they're going to call that foul on number 22 for North. That's Olivia Hammis, freshman.
Foul number 22, Olivia Hammis. Her first personal 13th foul.
And I think with that, we're going to get a timeout call. 21-11 in favor of the Mustangs early with 5:29 to go in the first half. We're going to take a break.
In this place, we see potential like nowhere else. Here, vision is boundless. That's why we never settle. We look for the moments when everything becomes possible. The moments that inspire us to make every day better. In this place, there's no such thing as good. There's only great. This is orthopedics and sports medicine like nowhere else.
Welcome back to Sheyenne High School. We want to take time to remind you that Essentia Health is proud to sponsor Sheyenne High School's Mustang media team and this broadcast. 5:29 to go in the first half. Sheyenne maintaining a 21-11 lead. We haven't really talked about, Aaron, the fact of any foul trouble, and really only 3 fouls on the Spartans in the first half, only 1 for Sheyenne, so that's a non-factor at this point. North's going to come out and set up some pressure defense once again, try and get Sheyenne to have to work their way to get this ball in. And great pass from Metcalf, and Benedict's able to finish with a chance at an and one. So again, Maya came to the ball, met the ball, closed that gap, and Benedict took off. Great recognition by Metcalf, and here we have Benedict going to be shooting an and one to try and get that lead up to 13.
So 5:24 to go, Coach. The Spartans have done a pretty good job of slowing down the scoring for the Mustangs. Just haven't found a way to get the buckets in, but to cut into that lead here during this time. So,
yeah, it's kind of hung around this 10, 12-point margin the whole time. North's yet to be able to string together any kind of run here and turn over the Mustangs or get a couple of easy baskets. Cheyenne's played really good defense in the half court. And as we said, North is very content to try and set something up on each offensive possession. Good backdoor cut. And Maya Metcalf's going to foul Grace Thiel on that one. Thiel will go to the line for 2. Both fouls in the first half belong to Maya Metcalf. Again, I think it was clean up top, but some contact with the body, and that's what the refs are going to get her for. I think Brooke Johnson's going to come in here and get Metcalf out. What you don't want with 5 minutes left in the half, you don't want Maya Metcalf picking up that third foul. I'd probably be shocked if we saw her again in the half.
So Thiel able to hit her second free throw as well, so that does cut into the lead now, 24-13. Mustangs looking to set something up in the half court here. North and a man-to-man. Good drive on the baseline there.
Some of those getting to the basket is paid dividends for Sheyenne tonight. They've settled for some outside threes, and maybe this is something Coach Wingenbach was hoping for with Brenna Dick on the floor, as she's now scored 5 straight for the Mustangs.
Ball moves around the perimeter here. Thiel shot fakes. Looking into the inside, but having a hard time finding somebody to get open. Then she finally does. And again, this is North kind of running out of time here on the shot clock as we get another nice steal from Paige.
Brooke
Johnson. I called her Paige again. Brooke Johnson. She gets all the way to the glass. So this is 3 times in a row, Coach, where the Mustangs finally got all the way to the rim, and it paid off. Brenna Dick gets the N1 opportunity. Then she makes the layup, and now it's Johnson's turn to get to the line.
And really, it's been difficult for North to get off the shots that they're hoping to create on the offensive end. Quick update from the North and Mustangs boys game from the Fargo Dome in North Fargo at halftime. It is the Mustangs 39 and Fargo North 30. So 9-point lead for the Mustangs at halftime, as there's a tie-up for a jump ball here, and that should go to the Spartans if my memory serves correctly.
Again, a little bit of token man pressure, I think, from Coach Wingenbach and the Mustangs. I think he's content with just kind of using a little bit of that token pressure to take and milk 5-6 seconds off the shot clock, so it makes it more difficult for them to get into their set, and maybe that turns into a shot clock violation. So North working around. There's that pick and roll, but played really well again. There's just not a lot of angle to make that pass. This one knocked away by Brenda Dick, and now she's got the ball into the corner. Shot fake. Looks down low to Carson Sanders. She kicks it out. Let's see if she stays hot from the corner, and she does. Olivia Manson looking over.
Gives a little smile to mom and dad in the stands as she knocks down her third three of the first half, and now a 17-point lead. And North is living on that dangerous edge. You're going to want to try and cut into this as we see Brenna Dick with the steal and getting an easy look and score. And now 19. Boy, if you don't keep this, near that 10-point margin, that's going to be really tough for a team like North. It just isn't built for quick spurts. We've seen
good
Faulkner
look inside
shoot.
there.
Yeah, someone lost their player, but North just isn't built for those big types of runs. So North's going to have to buckle down this last 3:15, see if they can get into that lead a little bit.
That was Grace Steiner with the assist into, I believe that was Julia Steiner down low.
There's a foul on the drive, and that I
think should get you into the bonus, I believe.
Should be the 7. That should get to the 1-and-1. Or maybe a quick scoreboard operator, and it already marked it as the 6th foul. Regardless, next foul on the Spartans will put Cheyenne at the line for the 1-and-1, and another 5-second violation. That's
I think they're going to say that one was a foul call on the screen. I think they're going to call it on Carson Sanders. I think she was kind of leaning in, trying to push out to catch the defender. So this is Theo pushing it up and
good
poking
job
it out
of
there
defense
by Carson Sanders.
Carson Sanders is looking around saying, how did I end up guarding Grace Thiel? And she was able to poke it away, and now they've got the
little switch.
The matchups that they want, I think.
Thiel up top with it now. Swings it over. Good take there. Hand on the top of the ball, and they're going to say that went out, I think, on Fagerland. Good defense there.
That was.
And to be honest with you, it was a good attack there by Arden Faulkner.
It really
to
was.
Get to the rim.
I thought for the first time someone got downhill and was going to get to the rim, but just good hands by Cheyenne.
North a little reluctant to get this out-of-bounds play started. Fortunate to get it in. And that's Faulkner for 3 from the corner. Doesn't catch iron. Thiel with the rebound. I don't think the shot clock should have been reset.
Yeah,
but I think they reset it again. Air ball goes into the hands of Carson Sanders. Sanders passes it out to a couple of guards here. Breidenbach with it now.
Boy, Olivia Manson wants that ball.
She is on a heat check right now. That one hits back iron. You can see that smile from a million miles away. She's feeling video game stuff right now. Ball back to Faulkner here in the full court. She crosses the half line, tries to set up the Spartans here. Dribble handoff, couple of weaves. That gets Thiel into a great drop pass. Open look there for 3 off the glass. That one goes in for Nikita Hamner, 5'3" senior, able to put that one home. And that gets the Spartans up to 18. Probably in a situation like this under 2 left, Coach, you're probably looking, hey, can we get this in single digits? Johnson with a 3. That one goes off iron. Good rebound there by Breidenbach. She's somehow able to slip the defender.
I think everyone assuming she was going to kick it up high towards the top of the key, and
both defenders
went that way and left her wide open.
Good sleight of hand there by Breidenbach. Gets her the nice bucket. There's the pick and roll that actually has a pass land, and that one's tipped, so they're going to say it's going to be okay
Good
for North
hustle by
here.
Carson Sanders. Now she has to hustle to get back into this play and pick up a.
Good job hustling back there, Thiel. Don't think that catch caught iron that time, so now we have 3 on the shot clock. And I don't think they got it off. So, I don't know. I'm not counting here, Coach, but that has to be a small handful of shot clock violations.
Yeah, really good job on the defensive end in the half-court set by Cheyenne so far tonight. 1:08 left to go in 16-point lead for the Mustangs. Metcalf does come in. I wonder if they're going to look to try and maybe get her involved in some way here.
She is into the post, but they look for the 3 anyway. That comes down to Brenna Dick. Her layup, unfortunately, goes a little bit off the iron, and now it's going to go into the hands of Fargo North. Rebound knocked away by the Mustangs. So Faulkner with it now. Switch on defense. Manson comes over to her. Looks like the Mustangs are jumping these passes and switching the – good job there by Brenna Dick. That's a couple of runouts here. Coach, it looks like, they came in, they did their homework. Wingenbach has a plan on the dribble handoff on the top.
He really does.
He's jumping the passes. They're doing quick switches. Good homework.
And what I loved about that sequence by Brenna Dick there, as ball's going to touch the sideline there as North tried to recover. Brenna Dick was out of that play, hustled back. Olivia Manson had picked up Brenna Dick's girl. Dick, as she's trying to get back into the play, there's a screen. She knows to switch that, ends up with a steal and an easy layup. Really, really nice work by the Mustangs, as there's a good choice by Breidenbach. Faking that three finally, that little pump fake, freed up Metcalf. And it's going to be a 20-point Mustang lead at the half.
So your 20-point scorer, I believe, Maya Metcalf, that may have been her first bucket or second bucket of the half, Coach.
Her first 2 points.
Her first 2 points, 38-18, 20-point advantage. I would think if you told Wingenbach, hey, you're going to have a 20-point lead coming into halftime, and your leading scorer has only got 2 points, you're probably feeling pretty good about that.
Or if you had told him your leading scorer is only going to have 2 at halftime, he might have been said, how much are we down by? And when you told him you'd be up 20, I don't know what coach wouldn't be excited by that fact. So a great first half of basketball by the Mustangs, as they really controlled the tempo in virtually all phases.
And for Coach Kaluza, probably on the other end, 38-18. I think one of the things that he's gonna probably have to ask at halftime is, they did a pretty good job of handling kind of that early spurt, slowing down the Mustangs, but just couldn't get the buckets when they needed them, and probably have to answer something for Olivia Manson. She's hot from the outside. Gonna have to do something, Coach.
You're gonna have to do something to keep Manson under control, but I think the real concern, North is executing the defense the way Coach Kaluza wants, but how are you going to do something to get these looks at the basket that you want? Obviously, much is predicated on their screen and roll offense, and Cheyenne's done a great job of defending that. So we're going to turn it over to the performance by the Cheyenne dance team here at halftime. So enjoy.
It's corny with that Illuminati mess.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Sheyenne dance team.
In this place, we see potential like nowhere else. Here, vision is boundless. That's why we never settle. We look for the moments when everything becomes possible. the moments that inspire us to make every day better. In this place, there's no such thing as good. There's only great. This is orthopedics and sports medicine like nowhere else. In this place, we face obstacles like nowhere else. The clock, the trail, the hill, the challenge that's always waiting. When that challenge comes, we'll meet it together. Because it's your chance to show what you're made of. Tenacity, resilience, and the power to prove that the toughest competition comes from within. This is orthopedics and sports medicine like nowhere else. In this place, we face obstacles like nowhere else. The clock, the trail, the hill, the challenge that's always waiting. When that challenge comes, we'll meet it together. Because it's your chance to show what you're made of. Tenacity, resilience, and the power to prove that the toughest competition comes from within. This is orthopedics and sports medicine like nowhere else. In this place, we see potential like nowhere else. Here, vision is boundless. That's why we never settle. We look for the moments when everything becomes possible. The moments that inspire us to make every day better. In this place, there's no such thing as good. There's only great. This is orthopedics and sports medicine like nowhere else.
Welcome back to Sheyenne High School. A couple of minutes left at halftime here. You know, Coach, Mustangs up 20 at this point. We did talk early in this, in the pregame. We said Coach Kaluza was content with teaching his defense to stop the opponent from scoring in the lane. Well, he did that tonight, but unfortunately for the North Spartans, the Mustangs were really hot from outside the three-point line.
They really were, and I'm sure Coach Kaluza would much rather give up a three than letting your opponent get to the rim and getting something close to the basket. But it's just, that's kind of the nature of basketball. Sometimes that opponent comes out on fire, and that's what we've seen tonight. Olivia Manson has been hot from outside. Been a couple others that have contributed with three-pointers, and then really at the end of the first half, Brenda Dick started to get to the basket. Breidenbach had a good little slip pass to Maya Metcalf. And that's what hitting the three does. It opens up so much, but when you live and die on it, then that can also be your worst enemy. But tonight, really, it's come to the aid of the Mustangs. And with the 20-point lead, I'm sure Coach Wingenbach is saying, let's just keep doing what we're doing. It's working well. And I don't know that what more Coach Kaluza can ask of his girls at this point. They played well on the defensive end. It's tough for them to generate a lot of offensive presence.
And I'm sure one of the things he's probably talking about in half is that they probably have to get into their set a little bit quicker, be a little bit sharper through that. Getting late into the shot clock, there's a little bit of panic that sets in. You don't get the shots that you want. You start making some errant passes. Those get turned over. I think, to Wingenbach's credit too, early we had a nice lead. We were hitting perimeter shots, but he recognized we also got to get to the rim. So, inserted Brenna Dick. She was able to get there. Really nice job. I think Brooke Johnson did it 3 times now. She got to the iron. And I think, even Breidenbach, she got slipped through that one time, got that nice little 5-foot floater. And so I think that's probably the difference right now is that the Mustangs were able to sustain some of that. As we get a 3-point look there for Johnson to start. Good save there by Breidenbach. And that's back out to Manson. That one hits iron. Breidenbach with her second offensive rebound in this sequence. New shot clock. We'll see if the Mustangs work it around a little bit. Ball tipped away.
Hammes there with good hands.
And they're going to say that was a foul on Breidenbach coming across the arm there. Good job by Hammes, I think, stealing that basketball away. She'll get to the free throw line, and that's probably what the Spartans need coming out of here. A turnover, get all the way to the rim, force the foul, see if you can put the free throws in, and that can change the game pretty quick once you start seeing a few free throws fall through. So update on the Fargo North Sheyenne game up at Fargo North. The boys, what do we got?
49-35, Mustangs in the lead with 12:19 to go in the second half.
Breidenbach with it across the half court now. She's going to pick and roll. No, Sanders is going to leave that. Now it's going to go over to Metcalf. Look down low for Johnson. Over to the corner. And she stays hot. That's Manson again. I believe that's her 5th three-pointer. That's one thing you're going to get from Manson. I think the other night she had 4 threes. And a great answer there from Fargo North. And they needed that. That was Skalicki from the corner. But, as I was going to say about Manson, when she scores, it's almost exclusively from the three-point line.
Yep.
She might get to the line a little bit, but she did the other night. She had, I think, 12 points, and they were all from courtesy of the three-point ball. So,
but, she does have a soft touch. There are times when, teams are keying on that three-pointer, and she gives a nice little pump fake and gets a little floater going into the lane. She hasn't had to use that tonight because, by and large, she's found soft spots in the North defense where she's getting uncontested looks, and she's making them pay tonight with that.
I did talk to her dad a little bit, Coach Bart Manson from Fargo Davies. He was a heck of a basketball player himself in high school. I wonder what his record is for three-pointers a game. I should have asked him. Let's see if his daughter can beat his record. Johnson takes a look for a second, but decides that she's going to earn a little clock here off this possession. Swings it over to Metcalf into the corner for Sanders. She shot fakes, uses a pick and roll with Maya. Maya slips to the three-point line, and that's great rhythm there.
So a little different combination there, where North is doing that screen and roll, and that screener is cutting to the basket. That time,
good defense.
Maya Metcalf just slipped to the corner, and that's not what North was expecting, and she knocked one down as we see Grace Anderson bank one home. They all count the same.
Hey, if you're
good for her.
If you're going to make your way back into the game, you need to start making some of those shots too. And so 25 points now for the Spartans. They need to get a few stops if they want to get back in this. That shot goes long by Maya Metcalf.
Faulkner thought about it for a second, and boy, North just has had a really tough time, any type of screen and roll situation, from being successful with that tonight. Credit to the Sheyenne defense that they're able to keep them off of that. And once again, they're forcing North deep into the shot clock, and it's a turnover, which works just as well as a shot clock violation.
Johnson looks at a 3 for a second. She decides to reset. Breidenbach with it now, setting up the offense. Back over to Johnson. Now to Metcalf. Good drop down pass and a kick out. Manson looks to drive, but decides not. Johnson with good left
Great
there
move.
off the glass. Little short. Rebound out to North. They'll look to push, but the numbers aren't there. Three-point ball from the corner, and that one's going to go out of bounds back to the Mustangs. So breaking news here, Coach.
A post from West Fargo Public Schools that considering the weather forecast for wind chills approaching 50 degrees below zero tomorrow, the school district has decided to cancel all school and activities for tomorrow, January 7th.
Well, we do have students running the production here, and I saw one of them already jumping up and down out of the excitement. There is also, this is an emergency closure, so this means that there is also no virtual learning. So this is, I'm looking over at our producer, Jacob Fisher. I'm sure his video game machine will be hot and ready tomorrow. Good drive there for North off the glass, and again, doesn't catch iron, so that's going to be a turnover.
And we'll just take this opportunity to apologize now that if there are any technical difficulties the rest of the game, it may be because Jacob Fisher is too busy celebrating the breaking news.
Good putback there for the Mustangs. 46-25 now extends the lead to 21 points with 13 minutes to go in this second half now. Kaluza getting a little frustrated that the ball gets stuck in the corner, and so he's going to call timeout. Talk things over, getting a little frustrated here, down 21. We're going to take a quick break.
In this place, we face obstacles like nowhere else. The clock, the trail, the hill, the challenge that's always waiting. When that challenge comes, we'll meet it together. Because it's your chance to show what you're made of. Tenacity, resilience, and the power to prove that the toughest competition comes from within. This is orthopedics and sports medicine like nowhere else.
Coming back to you live here from Sheyenne High School. Coach Wolf, 13 minutes to go. It's kind of do or die time here for Fargo North if they're going to make a dent. Probably in the next 5 minutes or so, you got to say to yourself, we got to chip into this lead so that it can get right around in that 10 to 12 range and give ourselves a shot.
Well, yeah, and I guess one thing, the way this half has started, you'd almost want to feel like North is down by more, but they've actually been able to hold it around that 20, and that's probably not a whole lot of consolation for Coach Kaluza. But, you're right. At just under 13 minutes to go, time is ticking for the Spartans. They're going to have to do something soon.
So that's Faulkner to the free throw line after the good attack. A couple of substitutions for both teams. And I will say, Coach, I think Faulkner's done a pretty good job offensively for the Spartans tonight. I guess just the situations for the Spartans, they just haven't been able to kind of get into a rhythm early enough into their offensive sequences where they feel like they're getting the shots that they want. And for the Mustangs, continuing to kind of hit on all cylinders here. They are the leading three-point shooting team in the EDC, and that number is going to go up after tonight's game, I would imagine.
Absolutely, and probably give some credit to Sheyenne here.
Great move there by Brenna Dick. Unable to finish. Ball goes out of bounds off the hands of Metcalf.
But great credit to Coach Wingenbach and the plan he's put in place for defense. Mentioning that North hasn't been able to get into their sets and those sorts of things. That's really a credit to the Mustang girls really buying into the game plan and executing it. I would think for Coach Wingenbach, from what the games that we broadcast this year, this is as complete a game as we've seen just in terms of how they played. That's probably the first time
That's a great pass.
that it was a step slow on that defensive shifting there and recognizing that. Metcalf did a great job of stepping in, but Carson Sanders just a step late. But beyond that, really, they've done a great job as they find Sanders on
nice
the
move
inside.
there by
Little
Sanders with her
baby
left.
hook.
And again, compliment to Wingenbach there. We are a three-point shooting team. We had three players there that could have pulled the three. All of them passed it up to move the basketball. One more pass gets it down into Sanders. 3-foot floater there with her left hand, and good job.
Absolutely.
Faulkner's shot goes off long there. Rebound ends up in the hands of Brenna Dick. She sets it back to Haas. See if the Mustangs are content with working a little bit of clock. Dribble handoff action here. Over to Fagerlund. She looks into the corner for Sanders. Little down screen.
So, and I think this is a difference between what we have for Cheyenne and North. North's been in this situation several times in terms of running the clock out, but Cheyenne got here because they chose to. They were looking for shots, and they were moving the ball still, where North has seemed to be stuck and then be in a position where they don't have a good option. This time, Cheyenne, again, moving the ball, had chances, but just worked it down and still got a quality look from Haas in the corner as Faulkner throws one up, a little long on that, and Metcalf with the rebound.
Brenna Dick to her left here, back to Fagerlund. Over to Sanders now. Looking in the interior, but it comes out to Metcalf. She hesitates and decides to take more time. That's Brenna Dick. Hits glass, hits iron, but doesn't go in. Rebound to the Spartans. This would be a great sweep for both programs if the Mustangs able to pull off a win. We said, Coach, obviously both teams kind of in a similar situation record-wise here. Kind of historically, at least in the last few years, Cheyenne's had North's number. This is a game that North definitely wanted to see if they could prove themselves after coming off that win over Shanley and seeing the Mustangs lose to Shanley. And certainly for Coach Wingenbach, the rebound game. And we did talk, Coach, it's tough this time of year. And now we have another day where they're going to miss practice. And it's just been kind of an odd sequence of events between these kind of weird sequences with injuries, with cancellations and people getting sick. And it's just kind of been a weird couple of weeks for both programs. And
it really has. And keep in mind already, the Cheyenne girls are down a game already because of a cancellation right after Christmas, the game that they were supposed to play against Fargo South. And so then that means you're jamming up schedules later on. You might have a week that's going to have to be 3 games, and that gets to be a lot for a player when you're having to go 3 times in a week. And that Fargo South game has been moved to January 13th, but now with the cancellation of the game against Red River tomorrow, that means yet another game and another week that you have to try and squeeze in. So this is definitely going to test teams down the road.
Good little crossover move there. That's Grace Steele again that gets the assist. I think that one ended up into the hands of Reagan Carlson. She's been able to connect from the baseline. So Spartans offense does look like it's kind of moving a little bit, but the Mustang lead has kind of been able to stick around that 20-point advantage. So now we're under 10 minutes to play, and Mustangs, I think, probably just want to keep the foot on the gas a little bit.
I think, you can't change how you're playing. There's no foul trouble. There's no issues like that. And I think if you're Cheyenne, you just have to keep things going as they're going to get Thiel on the block there outside of the restricted area as Dick was slicing to the basket, and she gets the shot up.
Thiel did a really nice job on that where she was
she did
sliding
too.
across and maybe took one extra step to kind of get her body underneath Brenna Dick, because Brenna didn't really take a great angle to that layup, and so maybe fortunate that she's able to get to the free throw line here. Connects on the first. But to Brenna's credit, she's been aggressive this whole game. Saw that in the second half for sure the other night against Shanley. She pushes the ball. She's confident. When she starts to feel it, you can tell she wants to pull the trigger. You want people on the floor that are kind of fearless, and she's definitely described that way, I would think.
I think so, and the fact that she does get to the rim so well. She can
and
shoot
with
the
both
three
hands.
with both hands, and she can shoot the three. But I think it's her penetration game that opens up three-point opportunities for her. There's a good defense by Caitlin Haas.
We've seen that quite a bit tonight from both Haas and Johnson, able to kind of knock balls free at the top, and then fight for the loose ball after they were get one free. Unfortunately, there I think that foul ends up on Haas, but you got to like that as a coach.
Yeah, you got to like it, but I think Caitlin was upset she didn't tie it up when she had a chance, and she just kept going with it there as Dick goes for the steal and ends up with it anyway.
And that's why you peel back, and this one gets her all the way to the left hand. Finds a way to throw that one off the top of the glass, and it connects.
Update from the Spartan Dome in the second half with about 7 minutes remaining in the game. Cheyenne has opened up a 20-point lead on the Spartans, 65-45 in the boys' game at Fargo North.
And I think everybody's got to be a little bit surprised, maybe not by the result. I think the boys, obviously, program, they've been playing really well. Coach Kirchhoffner's got those boys playing kind of a different brand of basketball than we've seen in the last few years at least. But, hey, I talked to Coach Kirchhoffner the other night. I said, hey, man, you're 5-1. You're shooting 20% from the three-point land. You're shooting 48% from the free throw line. Those are two areas where you've typically excelled, and you're 5-1.
Yeah.
And it's not that you don't have good shooters and that those numbers won't improve, but this year it's a brand of defense, rebounding. I think they're out rebounding their opponents by over 12 rebounds a game.
And
those
they're
extra
smaller.
possessions,
and they're smaller this year. Yeah, I had a chance to visit with him last night, and I said, boy, if you guys undoubtedly the free throw shooting's going to get better. It's something what you don't do is talk about it. The more you talk about it, the more it gets in kids' heads.
Great move there by
Bryden. And missed an easy one. But good fight by Brenna Dick, unable to save it to the Mustangs. But, I said, if you end up with a game where, all you need to do is shoot about 60% from the line and you shoot 40% from three-point land, you're gonna blow a team out by 25 or 30, and not because you've done anything different. You've just hit on more of your shots.
Good hustle for the offensive rebound.
Not knowing what's going on at North tonight, maybe this is a case of it. Is now, Cheyenne, and Fargo North is a dangerous team. We all agreed that was a team you probably didn't want to face in a knockout sort of situation because of how good they are. As Faulkner pulls the trigger and has a little long rebound to Breidenbach, but North, by all rights, probably should have beaten West Fargo, and West Fargo was able to pull it out, and here Cheyenne is up now by 25 at Fargo North.
And I think North, obviously doesn't maybe have the luxury that Cheyenne has, just the sheer numbers, the size of the program.
Depth.
And I think you see that on both the boys and the girls side right now, and both North and Cheyenne. So Cheyenne, obviously, senior and junior heavy on both varsity programs. North sprinkling in younger kids. You gotta say, for Calusa tonight, certainly looking at his team and the way they play, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater when you lose a game like tonight, because you can see it from his younger players. Obviously, when you're playing against more experienced players, some of those things, just like basic stuff, like getting into the set sooner, that changes the complexion of the game pretty quickly. And unfortunately tonight for his team, some of those younger players weren't able to kind of get the rhythm that they maybe have been finding. And those offensive things will come. When you're playing, a handful of ninth graders, same thing for the north side. They're down 20 tonight to the Mustangs, and obviously they have great talent at the sophomore level with Sem and Zeller, and they got players. But when you're talking about developing some guys while the seniors are kind of around it, it becomes a kind of a different sort of equation.
It does.
Obviously Wingenbach and Kirchhoffner, they mostly get to deal with people that have kind of grown through the program at least a little bit and played with each other a little bit more, had a little bit more varsity experience. Those things play out, especially early in the season, and you got to get some minutes for kids. And I would guess, watching Calusa's team, just the energy that they're bringing compared to where we've seen those teams the last few years, there's talent on this team. They're going to get better.
They certainly are, and the one thing is, as you were talking about that, the one thing that really has stuck out to me is North has not thrown in the towel by any stretch of the imagination. They're continuing to fight, and, there's a lot of teams that being down at 20 would mean being down at 40 by 40 at this point, and it's a 23-point game. Fargo North has continued to battle throughout, and I think that's something you'd see from their boys program as well. But, we know Sheyenne, attendance-wise, is the largest Class A school in North Dakota, and so you're right. You have that luxury of probably more depth, more bodies, more people who've been through that program, and that's something that Fargo North doesn't have that luxury, and so you kind of have to mix and match those older and younger players and do the best you can as time goes on.
And, and a lot of people will look at, coaches understand this. Parents, they only get to see the performances. But coaches also understand when you have greater depth at the program level, practices are different.
Yeah.
You have more competition there. You can have a great backdoor pass and cut there. Good design. That gets Metcalf a layup. And I think that's something that I think for sure Calusa is going to see out of his North Spartans. I'm sure Wingenbach is recognizing that with his girls. When you can start build those numbers, build the competition in practice, it starts to feed into the games.
It really does.
Good drive there
Great
on the baseline.
drive. I think that was Skolicki there with a great move to the baseline and connects.
And you're right, Coach. They haven't checked out in this half.
No.
They've been there. Benedict to the side, and there's a good block there. Faulkner, this player has impressed me tonight, Coach. Good crossover there. Faulkner gets all the way to the rim. Good drop pass.
And she's only a junior, so you mix in those freshmen, and here's a girl that will be back next year and be a senior. And a lot of this comes to you lead by example, too. And so here's a girl, a junior, that is continuing to work hard out there, and young kids see that. They watch the game, and they see how people react in when they come across adversity. And so great job by Fargo North continuing to fight through this game as we're starting to see a few more of the players as Maddie Husted is in for the Mustangs.
Tell you what, every time Brenna Dick takes that shot fake, Coach, it looks like she's almost faking herself out. Yeah. She wants to pull that thing so bad. When she pulls it back in, she just looks disappointed. With that, it's 5 minutes to go. We have a timeout, 55-33 in favor of the Mustangs.
In this place, we face obstacles like nowhere else. The clock, the trail, the hill, the challenge that's always waiting. When that challenge comes, we'll meet it together. Because it's your chance to show what you're made of. Tenacity, resilience, and the power to prove that the toughest competition comes from within. This is orthopedics and sports medicine like nowhere else.
Mustang fans, Bell Bank Mortgage is proud to support the West Fargo Cheyenne Mustangs. Rates are great, so if you're considering moving up or maybe even becoming a homeowner for the first time, talk to the experts at Bell. We'll help make home happen. Bell Bank Mortgage, equal housing lender. Go Mustangs.
Looked like Wingenbach was ready to pull that three there from the corner when he caught it. Flashback a few years and said, hey,
I got this.
Into the corner now. That's Thiel. Good attack there.
Great
and
job
a great
by
finish.
Skolicki.
That's something that, again, not every player is able to recognize that. Screen and roll comes. The pick comes. What does the defender do? They lean into the screen. Skolicki recognized that defender leaned right into the screen, goes the opposite direction. That first step, boom, she's right into the lane, able to finish at the rim.
Really just turned on the gas and got right to the basket with ease.
So 55-35, Coach, with this game probably well in hand for the Mustangs. Got a player of the game tonight. Who are you thinking?
I'm going to say just the Cheyenne team defense. I think, Coach Wingenbach had a great plan for his players tonight, and they've executed it so well. There have been so few opportunities where North has had easy looks at the basket.
As we see another turnover there on a 3-second call.
The defensive rotation has been spot on. They've guarded that screen and roll incredibly well. So, I think this was really a team effort tonight by the Mustangs.
I'm going to go with the shooter tonight. Obviously, it's just impressive to watch. I love when I see Olivia Manson pull it with confidence. When she's shooting like that, Coach, the second that she catches the basketball, she feels like it's going in. Tonight it did.
Well, and that opens up so much for your offense. Tonight, as it turns out, Maya Metcalf wasn't needed to score 20 points or anything like that for a Sheyenne victory, but you get into one of those games where maybe it's a play-in game to go to state, or it's to move yourself up a step in the standings. And as I mentioned earlier, basketball is such a confidence-driven game, and so when Olivia Manson gets to a point where she's feeling it, and the ball's going in from the minute it leaves your hand, boy, that's a luxury to have, and that really is going to open things up for the rest of your offense. As Sheyenne puts on some real heat this time, North breaks it. Grace Anderson's going to get it over to Faulkner.
I used to use an old litmus test, Coach, that to me determined, nice little move there to the left. My litmus test on whether or not you're playing a good game of basketball at the high school level with the shot clock is I used to say if you could race to 60, as we have a great shot there by Brooke Johnson.
First time tonight you got it.
I got it. My litmus test was if you can win the race to 60 and play hard defense, you're going to win a lot of high school basketball games at the Class A level. Now, it seems to me that the game has changed a little bit on the boys' side, where it seems like it's a race that we saw the other night. Bismarck High won over Bismarck Century 103 to 101, and I thought maybe that the scoreboard was broken. But, Coach, to me, especially come tournament time, nobody's going to score 100 points in the Class A state tournament.
No,
it's going to be based on defense. And can you score 60 points and defend in a slower game where there's more physicality? I think both on the girls and boys level tonight, the Mustangs were able to do that, putting up 60 points, playing hard team defense. That's to me the litmus test. Did you play a good game? We've seen it, in the past where you could win a game 80 to 60, and I said to myself, that doesn't feel like a good game to me. Yeah, you won by 20, but you're not going to get 80.
Right.
So you got to learn to not give up 60. And so that's, to me, I think the litmus test tonight, Mustangs pass.
Absolutely. When you talk about no one's going to score 100, I think Wilhelm and the Bismarck Demons are going to do everything they can to try and prove you wrong on that.
Well, I did say, hey, race to 60. Eagle staff had 52 the other night, so maybe he got the message from me that he was supposed to score 60, so that's pretty impressive.
52 and what, 9 assists? And even if those 9 assists are just 2-pointers, that accounts for 70 of the 103 points from one guy. That was an impressive performance.
There are good basketball players in our conference right now.
Absolutely.
Who have not scored 52 points on the season yet.
Exactly.
That would get you 9 or 10 points a game. Those are good basketball players at the varsity level. You got 52 in a night.
And against a team that hangs its hat on defense, and I can only imagine what Coach Mattern was saying when they were down 20-2 to start the game. But those two teams seem to be playing at a different level right now, and that was impressive to see. And if we talk playing at a different level, to this point, the West Fargo Packers on the girls' side of the slate, at least in the EDC, have been playing a game that no one else has been able to match.
Good trap in the corner there, but Mustangs able to break it.
As we saw, Davies handle the Mustangs and show that they're a quality program, and really West Fargo dispatched them without all that much difficulty.
And that's, I guess without saying it in the pregame, we talked about, hey, for the Mustangs, they got to be able to win this kind of game to kind of move themselves up in the standings.
Yep.
But it is pretty clear that the cream of the crop is, just a small handful of teams there, and it's really led by the Packers. And that team right now, they are built to win big games. They do it from a lot of different angles.
Yeah.
And just across the interstate there's some girls that can play some pretty good basketball.
Well, and every team would be thrilled to have one star on their team, and that's a team that has two really good players in Mariley Simon and Fow. A final from the Spartan Dome. The Mustang boys have defeated Fargo North 76 to 60, so 16-point victory for Coach Kirchhoffner and the Mustang boys tonight, as we're down to 1:57 to go in this one, and a 59-40 lead for the Mustangs.
And that's just a tremendous road win for Kirchhoffner and his boys. Coming into that game tonight, there's probably some question marks, I think, for the Mustangs to know, are they going to have depth at scoring? They know what Mike Nile can do.
Yep.
Sometimes we see Caleb Larson be that second scorer, and then there's a drop-off. Do they have – and tonight it looked like they had a lot of scores.
That would certainly be the appearance, and that's, what we've talked about this season is, Nile was the proven commodity, and it doesn't have to be the same guy every night that goes with him, but somebody has to go with him at each game and step forward to try and do that. And they've got the scores. We've seen games that Dozeman has come up big. We've seen games that Caleb Larson has come up big.
And tonight, just looking at their stats, and this isn't finalized here, but I'm looking at some of their stats at the north side. Caleb Larson, over 20 points tonight. They had 7 out of Gooselaw. They had 8 people score, and only Nile and Larson were in double figures.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you can predicate wins on that kind of thing. And we saw it tonight with the girls too, didn't we, Coach?
Yeah.
We saw a lot of different girls score. You didn't have to rely on Metcalf to kind of put up 20 in order to win. Those are good signs for both programs.
I really think it is.
We'll take a quick timeout. We're going to be right back here at 1:16 to go in this game. We'll be right back.
In this place, we see potential like nowhere else. Here, vision is boundless. That's why we never settle. We look for the moments when everything becomes possible. The moments that inspire us to make every day better. In this place, there's no such thing as good. There's only great. This is orthopedics and sports medicine like nowhere else.
Welcome back. Want to remind you of one of our sponsors tonight, Apex Engineering Group. This broadcast is proudly sponsored by Apex Engineering Group, professional consultants serving North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota communities and public agencies, designing solutions to your infrastructure needs. If you set the bar at excellence, how do you reach excellence? Find out at apexengineeringgroup.com. If you set the bar at competence, apparently I don't have competence, Coach.
That is absolutely fine. I'm sure the good people at Apex are okay with that.
And I did actually, our sponsor from Apex Engineering, Dane Miller, did talk to him tonight, shot him a text here, asked him how the C game went. I always want to check in one of our broadcasters. The reason I'm on the call tonight is Jackson Miller was up playing at Fargo North. I did ask how Jackson played. He said he made 5 threes tonight. So, hey, good job, Jackson.
Absolutely. I think that probably goes back to, the coaching he received in the middle school level is all I can figure out with that. But absolutely, way to go, Jack. I don't remember, but
you might not. You're old. Couple of quick thank yous too tonight. We got multiple people working this broadcast. Quick thank you to Jacob Fisher. He's our producer tonight. Logan Staska and Connor Husted are running some cameras for us tonight, so thanks to those guys. We got Emma Lichtenberg, and we have, let's see here, I think Catherine down there taking pictures somewhere. I'm not sure where she went. We got all sorts of people working for Mustang Media trying to provide for you guys an experience that, it's a cold night. We wanted to make sure you were able to see this game. So,
great job by all the students that work these broadcasts for Mustang Media. Good pass there by Faulkner to Thiel running the floor. That good diagonal pass as they continue to put on the pressure. It's a 15-point game, but North played hard the entire time. Cheyenne's going to end up with a well-deserved win here and a good job tonight as Elena Holder's going to put a cap, I think, on the scoring to make it 62-45 and a victory for West Fargo Cheyenne.
Good W for Coach Wingenbach on a bounce-back kind of game tonight. And, you know, for Kaluza and his crew here, he's got to like what he sees, what he's building there. Again, probably a little frustration that they didn't come out with the kind of the energy that they needed, maybe to get the buckets that they needed or the efficiency at least. So they, you know, fall to the Mustangs 62-45. Coach, big takeaways from this game.
Well, you know, I would think Coach Wingenbach has got to believe that his team is on the upswing. Probably wasn't happy with the overall performance from start to finish at the Shanley game because of the flatness of the first half, but that was not an issue tonight. So even though tomorrow night's game now is going to be postponed and have to be made up, I would think Coach Wingenbach's just going to say, hey, you know, this is the type of team we can be night in, night out. We just have to go and prove that, and hopefully that's what they're able to do the rest of the way. You know, for Coach Kaluza, as you mentioned, I still don't know that you can be real upset with the mixture of young players that they have. They fought hard the whole night, but it's just not a team of big-time scorers yet. But when you have young players like that, you have chances for players to develop into that. So both teams, you know, it's, as we always say, it's the marathon, not a sprint to get to that state tournament. You just want to probably make sure that you're not doing a play-in game and give yourself a chance when it comes tournament time. Wacky things happen, and if you get hot at the right time, we've seen in the last handful of years on both the girls and boys sides where number one seeds haven't made it to the state tournament. So just being the number one seed isn't enough. You've got to come ready to play night in, night out in the EDC.
So next week we will have a Monday broadcast. That'll be the boys against Grand Forks Central. The girls will be playing up in Grand Forks. Again, as we mentioned during the broadcast today, school and activities are canceled for tomorrow, so the game against Red River for both the boys and the girls will probably be rescheduled at a later date. So Coach Wolf, you know, it's probably going to be another opportunity for these both programs to have another game without a lot of practice time.
Not a lot of practice, but I guess the positive side is if you are ailing, if you've got some illnesses, if you just need some rest, it will be a chance for some kids to do that. Hopefully they keep the tick-tocking to a minimum and get some rest tomorrow and those sorts of things. Before we sign off, we'd like to recognize one of our sponsors again, and that is Bell Bank. At Bell, people come first. No matter where you are, you'll see the Bell difference in your mortgage experience with us.
So thanks for tuning in tonight. For Aaron Knodel,
this is Dan Wolf.
Mustang Media signing out.